guys, good afternoon. Back with you again. Just dropped you a video, like I said, not too long ago, of what happened with Jimmy G and the quarterback situation. So, we're going to move on from that. Nothing we can do. Next man up. Got to roll with C.J. Beathard to start. Nick Mullins is being called up from the practice squad to back up Beathard. Like I said in my previous video, he looked actually pretty good in preseason. Actually looked like he was processing information just a tad bit faster than Beathard was. So, not a negative. We are working out a ton of QBs today. Too many people to get to. But, on to our next opponent. And that is the San Diego Chargers. My bad, LA Chargers. So, good friend of mine named Aaron. Like, childhood friend. That's my dog since forever. He is a diehard Chargers fan. He's been with them since they were in San Diego, and now they're in LA. So I'm pretty sure he still got that same Junior Seau jersey he had for years. I remember that jersey from junior high all the way through high school. So, shout out to my boy. We coming to get you this weekend, baby. So, no stats to really report on Beathard. He hasn't played all season, so nothing really to say. But we'll go ahead and get to the Chargers really quick. So they are the same as us. They're 1-2. Phillip Rivers is 75 out of 108 with a 69.4% completion percentage. He's got 8 TDs. He's only thrown 1 pick. Melvin Gordon actually has 39 rushes for 172 yards, 2 TDs. He's actually got a 17 reception for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns as well. They've got this kid that I've never really heard of, but he's actually making a little bit of noise behind Melvin Gordon at running back, and his name's Austin Eckler. 11 rushes for 132 yards. 11 receptions for 132 yards and a TD. He's got 20 rushes for 163 yards, so that's actually a fairly good average. Of course, there's Keenan Allen, there's Mike Williams, both of whom are doing their thing. Keenan Allen only has 1 TD, but he's got 269 yards on just 17 receptions. Mike Williams has 189 yards on 11 receptions and 3 touchdowns. So, their receiving core is good. The guy, I'll get to their special guy that we have to worry about later. As far as right now, as far as on defense, they do have 7 sacks as a unit. Top tackler and top defender pretty much is Derwin James. Guy's got 2 picks, 4 passes. He's got 1 pick, 4 passes defense. Then he's got 2 sacks. Looks like as a unit they got 11 tackles for a loss, 14 passes defense, and about 3 INTs. So as of right now, that unit in total, we've got to be mindful of the defensive backs. Defensive backs are pretty good. You got Jason Verrett, who I wanted us to draft a long time ago when he was first coming out of college. But you got Casey Hayward. You got a pretty decent defensive backfield over there. Derwin James obviously is no joke. Guy's been moving around the field making plays. So next up, we've got their special guy to worry about, and it isn't really that he's that great as far as an all-around player, but he is a threat, and that is Travis Benjamin. Benjamin is a speedster, so he is their punt and kick return guy. So, they may even bring him in on different types of packages throughout the game. We got to be worried about Phillip Rivers. He's a wily vet. He's been in the league for years. If you guys don't know the story behind Phillip Rivers, it's very simple. Rivers was actually drafted by the Giants, and Eli was drafted by the Chargers. Eli made a fuss. He didn't want to play for the Chargers. He did not want to play for San Diego. So, it was just an even swap. The Chargers wound up with Rivers, and Eli went on to the Giants, and Eli has 2 rings, and Phillip has none. So, doesn't state, anything about Phillip. It's just they never been able to get over the hump. They've had to go back to Antonio Gates as their tight end because he's been their only viable option. They had a young tight end. I can't remember his name for the life of me right now, but he went down earlier, and they needed somebody to come back in as well. You have the possibility of Joey Bosa coming back. I don't know if that is or is not going to happen. Let's hope for our sake and for our offensive line's sake it does not, because we already got to deal with Melvin Ingram and Brandon Mebane and a couple of the other guys they got on their defense, and we got to be mindful with that, especially with having just CJ and Nick there as far as our QBs are concerned. So, it's going to be a bit of a challenge going up against the Chargers. They put up some pretty good points, several different, things that they've done throughout the season in their games. So it's been a little bit of a struggle. Let me pop that open really quick. I'll let you know, what their stats were as far as that goes. But on a good note, the Chargers haven't really been able to beat us like crazy as of late. So we should be good to go as it pertains to them. So in the Chargers' last couple of games, first game they played the Chiefs, they only scored 28 points. They lost that game. Next game against the Bills, they went ahead and only scored 20 points. They scored 31 points, and they won that game. And then they just played the Rams, and the Rams beat them 35-23. So you got 28, you got 31, and you got 23. So they're roughly scoring anywhere in between 23 to 30 points a game, 31 points a game. So that's actually not bad, but we've got to be very careful about that because we're giving up a lot of yardage and whatnot as it pertains to the passing games because our defensive backs have got to get it together. So jumping right on over to our 49ers as I'm about 6 minutes deep. It's enough to talk about the Chargers because I am a 49er fan. We'll go ahead and give you a quick synopsis as it pertains to the injury report. If you see me looking off, it's because I'm looking at the laptop trying to make sure I provide you the right information. So here's the injury report. Of course, Jimmy G gone for the season. He's out. Richard Sherman has a calf strain, and he will be out for a couple of weeks. As far as these guys, there's a reevaluation period, but they'll all be people that possibly could or could not play. So we've got Jaquiski Tartt, who's dealing with a shoulder injury, just a shoulder stinger. That may or may not keep him out. We've got Mike Person, which is one of our guards. He had a knee strain, so may or may not. Still got Josh Garnett dealing with his toe. Hopefully that guy can get back and at least be on the line for us. We really need him to get things going and get going in the right direction. He hasn't been healthy all season. I apologize for that. Let's take a look. We got Matt Breida, but Breida hyperextended his knee and dealing with a little calf soreness, so he's kind of questionable. Hopefully not. I'm pretty sure Breida should be okay. We'll probably just give him a little bit of rest and see how he looks in practice, and he should be perfectly fine. We got Keese. He had a quad, but he should be good to go. I doubt that highly. Adrian Colbert back there. He had a hip issue. They'll have to double check with him tomorrow and see what's going on. We got Alfred Morris with a little bit of an ankle injury, but he'll be fine. I'm pretty sure he'll be perfectly fine. So out of all those guys, I'm more so worried about Person and Garnett because they've been kind of dealing with nagging injuries since the season started. As well, not really worried too much about Tartt because Exum came in and did a pretty good job. I think Colbert will be fine. Probably just needs to, get a little rest. Everybody needs rest. Tuesday is usually their rest day. So those are our injuries. Now for us, of course, Breida has 274 yards, 1 touchdown as far as his rushing. Alfred Morris, he has 153 and 1 TD. George Kittle is our leading receiver, although he has no touchdowns. He's got 12 receptions for 191 yards, so he's averaging like a ridiculous amount of yardage right now. Juice, which is Kyle Juszczyk, for those of you who don't know, Juice has 6 receptions for 107 yards and 1 TD. Dante Pettis next up, 3 for 96 with another TD. Our defense has the same amount of sacks as theirs, 7. DeForest Buckner owns 3.5 of those on his own. Fred Warner has been a delight to watch because he's all over the field. He's our leading tackler right now with 28 tackles. He got 3 tackles for a loss and 2 passes defense. Overall, as a team, we have 11 passes defense. So basically, this is another test on our secondary. So with having the situation of, Sherm going down, then that means that we're going to have to move around a couple of people. They are liking to start Tart, or should I say they like to start Jimmy Ward behind. They like to start Jimmy Ward on the opposite side of Keller Witherspoon. Sorry, I don't know why I keep losing it. But they had like to start Jimmy Ward aside from Keller Witherspoon. Right now, we are kind of rolling with the punches as far as the guys are there. It looks like some of the stuff hasn't been updated as far as the roster is concerned on ESPN, but I know the updates mentally off the top of my head. So, basically what we will need to be doing is they'll probably try to start Jimmy Ward opposite of Keller Witherspoon. If Ward can't go, then we've got to worry. We've got to hope that we've got at least Tarvarius Moore or looks like probably Greg Mabin. One of those cats will be able to start, I believe. As far as those guys are concerned, that's what we would need to do. If Tart can't go, then I'm pretty sure they'll go ahead and probably get DJ Jones in there because he was a speedster. He's actually pretty fast. If y'all didn't catch him, he ran that back for a touchdown, but obviously that was called back. Poor luck of the draw with that. So, yeah, they definitely need to update this roster. This is ridiculous. ESPN need to step up their game because their roster is pretty much crap as far as the depth chart is concerned. So, basically, we're going to start out the game most likely with C.J. Beathard and with Matt Breida, and we'll most likely start off with Pierre and Keese. Both of those guys are starting wide receivers. So it looks like what we'll have to do, probably unfortunately for the time being, is just to kind of see exactly what happens. The beauty of it is that we're going up against, the Chargers D. Their D is good. They're an NFL defense. I'm not going to disrespect them like that. But hopefully we can make some things happen. Like I said, they did have some points hung up on them a couple of different times. So, in their losses and whatnot, defenses were able to put up some points on them. So I'm hoping that CJ can take advantage of that. I believe in CJ. I don't think that we are going to lose much as it concerns, not having Jimmy. I know it's frustrating because we all believe it's the franchise guy. We would like him to be there. But realistically, against Kansas City, I didn't think we were going to win anyway, strictly based on the fact that their offense is just too high-powered, and Pat Mahomes has been on a ridiculous roll. As you can see, he killed us last week. But this is Phillip Rivers. He's a wily vet, and I hopefully feel like our defensive line is going to be able to get after these guys and get this stuff going and get things going in the right direction. I believe, we got to get Solly in there a lot more, get him in, continue to get Buck going. He's been rolling pretty well with his, with the games, and we hope that he can continue to get sack after sack and rack those up and get him in double digits at least by the end of the season. That would be great. So with Sherm out, like I said, it'll probably be a Keller Witherspoon, Jimmy Ward. We just have to make sure that we continue to do things right, continue to work together as a team, continue to work together as a union, and we can beat the Chargers. It's not a hard task to be able to go out there and play another team and beat them, but I believe that we will. So we just have to be very careful, very mindful, and very smart with our play. And believe in CJ. For all y'all out there that's not believing in him, believe in the guy, man. I mean, what's the worst we can do? Go out there and lose a game? I understand that we don't want to, and we would love to have made the playoffs this year. But to be truthful and honest with you, what happens if we go 8-8? That's still more wins than we had the season before. We committed to Lynch and Shanahan for 6 years, so let's go ahead and give them time to be able to help us build and have that optimism. CJ is a really good quarterback, and he is a great guy. Like I said, if you haven't seen his run last year, just type in CJ Beathard, run, and go ahead and put that in YouTube. Guarantee you see that guy take off. I'm going to sign off as I'm reaching my time limit here of the 15 minutes. But if y'all have any questions or concerns, put them in the comments. Like and subscribe if you like my videos. Go 49ers. And to all our Niner faithful out there, we got our W coming. And it's going to be against these Chargers. Be easy. Stay blessed. Peace.